Afternoon, monkeys. Welcome to a very slightly snowy but perishingly cold West Yorkshire. Just a little intro to the next video. I filmed this a few months back while I was still taking fentanyl on the lowest dose, I believe it was, and morphine. I'm now totally free of fentanyl and morphine. I was taking it for pain relief from a really bad road traffic accident 12 years ago. I went up through different strengths and various doses and various different painkillers till I ended up on fentanyl, 100 micrograms an hour. I then decided, various reasons, that I had to come off it because it weren't doing me any good anymore. All it was doing was feeding my body's own addiction. My body was physically dependent on it. If I didn't keep taking it, I started withdrawing. So I had to go from down strength to strength on the patches. I ended up on 100 micrograms an hour. I had to go down in various doses to the less level patch every time, the weaker patch every time. But the problem with that is, when you do it that way, you end up restarting the withdrawals every time you go down. I was given morphine cover to cover the withdrawals, so every time I went down a dose of fentanyl, I had to go to the top dose of morphine. Then over a month, reduce the morphine right down to where I was taking none, and then go down another dose of fentanyl. That in itself took just shy of 9 months to come off the fentanyl doing it that way, because I had to go down about, I think it was about 8 doses. But let me tell you, the withdrawal symptoms are fucking brutal. I would advise anybody, never, ever, ever go on to any form of opioids unless you really need to. Mine was very nearly, I didn't have any choice. I broke my neck, I broke my hip. I didn't have any choice. But you become that tolerant to them that quick that they just stop working. Like I said, I ended up on 100 micrograms an hour of fentanyl, and it was just feeding my body's addiction to them. Mentally I wasn't addicted, physically I was. So yeah, it took me 9 months. Try not to take them. Really, really, really try not to take them unless you really have to. They're okay, and they have the place for short-term pain relief, but only very short-term. They also have the place for end-of-life palliative care, making people comfortable. Doesn't really matter then, but under normal circumstances, do your best not to take them. Right, I'll leave you with this video. I might repeat one or two things I've just said now, but it's been that long since I've watched it. I just thought I'd explain things a bit clearer now. Alright folks, catch you soon. How's it going? I just want to have a little chat just about opioids and how dangerous they are. I've had the last nearly 12 years, it'll be 11 years in October, and I've been on super strength opioids, nearly off them now. I was on one called fentanyl for nearly 8 years. And the problem with them is, your body soon becomes very tolerant to them. So, I started off on 25 micrograms an hour. Within a month I was on 50s, which gets stronger again. About another 3 months after that, I was put on 75 micrograms per hour. And then, within another 12 months at the very latest, I was on 100 micrograms an hour. Now, when you start getting stronger than that, you start going into really strong, sort of like cancer patient strength, you know. Now, I'm not sure that doctors even prescribe it anymore just for pain, but sort of like 7-8 years ago when I started on it, it was like the big thing to give for pain management. But once you become addicted to it, your body becomes addicted to it very, very quickly. And it's taken me nearly 6 months. By the time I finish it totally, I'm just on 12 micrograms an hour now from 100 micrograms. So, compared to what I'm on, the dose now is just minimal. And I've not got far to go now before I can Felt like it'd be out of my body. Now they've been managing the withdrawals are just horrendous. Absolutely fucking brutal. Totally brutal. They're very, very similar to what a heroin addict would be suffering coming off heroin. Honestly, wow. It's just... It feels like someone's stabbing you. It feels like you're walking on glass in bare feet. Your skin's itching and burning. You're vomiting, diarrhea. It's like water pissing out of both ends. Sorry to be blunt, but all I'm saying is, if you ever have a bad accident, please be very, very careful what you end up taking. Because I've been hooked on uber strong opioids for 8 years, and it turned me into a physical and mental wreck. But the ones I ended up on, the 100 micrograms, are that strong. You just 3 sheets to wind. I couldn't drive half the time. I just couldn't function. I was just a mess. And at the end of the day, once you've been on them a while, they don't help. There's 2 numpties in road here. Yeah, and they don't help you. All you're doing is feeding the body's addiction to feel somewhat normal. Now, normal on fentanyl is not normal at all. I must stress to you, try your best, if you ever have an accident, not to go on to the strong ones. Try and cope with the pain, because the pain is much easier to live with than the crap that the fentanyl gives you. It's horrendous. When I first had the accident, they put me on dihydrocodone and tramadol together. The pain was that bad. Soon become tolerant to them. Then they tried me on one called, this is a pain management specialist, tried me on buprenorphine, which I believe they give to heroin addicts when they're coming off the stuff. It's one of the things they can give them apart, as well as excuse me, as well as methadone. So, and then that just got to the point it wasn't working. So they started me on that, and it was fantastic to start with. It was great. And each time I moved up a dose, I was getting total pain relief. But it doesn't take long. Please be very, very careful. Even the weaker stuff like tramadol and buprenorphine and things like that, they'll just fuck you up. Actually, buprenorphine turned me into a total psycho. But I just thought I'd just off spec give you just the heads up, so to speak.